Yeah, hey everybody, this is Ian from Mindful Marketplace. I am stifling a sneeze right now, which hopefully will not come out as I go through this short video. But essentially, I want to show those of you who are using Circle, the software as a service for building community, how, at least how I think about using Circle as a content curation engine, right? So if you're familiar with all the various different newsletter publishing platforms that use content curation. For an example, Review, which was purchased last week in the beginning of February, I believe, 2021 by Twitter. There's Curated. There's a whole bunch of these curation style, platforms. Ghost actually does that quite well as well. But in my view, curated content is one of the absolute easiest ways to really quickly and easily build a uh, community. It's a great way of connecting with your niche neighbors, your professional peers, because you're actually referencing their content, and then there's a whole bevy of interesting and ethical ways of referencing the folks who you're referencing, and that's going to draw attention to your community, your content, and is a great way of getting other folks to evangelize for you by dint of sharing your community because you're sharing their content, right? So, um, Circle actually makes this really, actually, they don't make it any easier than any other platform, but you can do this using your Circle, install or occurrence quite easily. I'm going to show you how. So this is a community. It's called Bodhisattva. I'm actually just working on this with some other folks. I'm not the lead person on this long term, but for the short term, I am, and we're actually sharing content about spiritually transformative experiences, things like near-death experiences, deep contemplative, cosmic consciousness sorts of experiences, psychedelics, that sort of thing. And there's a whole kind of contextual backdrop to this through the perspective of what's called a bodhisattva, which is a Mahayana Buddhist term, which we're not going to really cover here, but I'm just going to show you how we are adding content using this approach. So if you look on the homepage, you'll see I just did this a couple of minutes ago. Woman in a coma describes her experience of God and the life-changing effects of her NDE. So if you click on this, you'll see this is just a link to a story that was, published elsewhere that I just curated and published on our Circle, right? So here's another example that I'm going to show you live how to do this because I really think this is the absolute quintessential content marketing strategy for new communities, right? When you're just getting started and you really need to add content quickly, this is really a great way of not only adding authority site style content to your community so folks can actually look to you as a jumping off or starting off point to learn more about the niche or the locality or the geographic area or the topic, et cetera, et cetera. So in this case, I mean, I didn't even really read this story only to make sure that there was some relevance to near-death experiences beyond, the title, because sometimes these near-death experience stories aren't really the kind of near death experiences that we're talking about on our community. All right. So I'm just going to copy that link. I'm going to go into I'm going to post a new topic. So actually, I'm going to go to the home so I can show you exactly how to do this on Circle the way that, at least, that I like to do it, which is you want to select a space, right? So which space do you want to post to? In this case, we're going to select near death experience because this is the topic or the space that this content is most relevant. And then I'm just going to go and into the editor here. I'm going to go to embed here. I'm going to paste that URL here. And you'll see it brings up the story. And then I would just I would redo the title so there's some SEO benefit et cetera, et cetera. All right. Okay, so I just made that up on the fly, obviously. Now, generally, what I would do here is I'd add some parenthetical comments that would be, kind of salient to this particular article. Sometimes, actually, what I'll do is I'll go into the body of the article and add more content this way. So let's see if we can find. Right, I read this earlier when I was double checking that this was actually an NDE of the sort that we're interested in. So I might paste that here. I I make that a quote. Actually, I'll just italicize it here because I can't find the quote. And again, you're linking to the story, so you're not actually, this isn't like plagiarizing content. You're actually linking back to the story and excerpting it like so, right? So it's not like you're copying the content for your own use without citing the original source. This is a very ethical and very white hat way of curating content. And sometimes usually I would add parenthetical comments that were at least this long. Generally, I would add longer than the excerpt that I'm clipping, right? But in this case, I'm not going to do that in the interest of time. So I'm just going to say, all right. Again, that's just basically a bunch of gibberish that, I'm just sharing, kind of loosely based on what the guy was saying about what he learned from his NDE. And I'm just going to post it and boom, it's there. All right. So this man was brought back to life twice. See what his two NDEs taught him about life and death. As you just saw, I excerpted that. I put it into italics, so it's at least obvious that this is not my words. This is his words, and then my own parenthetical comments here. Really fascinating NDE with some interesting insights on the importance of staying true to your values. Okay, so let's go back to the topic. And now you'll see this one and this one both are in the topic near-death experiences. And if you go to the home page, by dint of the new homepage that Circle has this new homepage, a curated stream, which is really cool. It just actually came out in the last, I think yesterday or today. I actually had beta access to this, as many Circle owners did, but I think they just publicly released this today. It's very cool, and it's really helpful for community leaders. All right, so this is now on the front page, as is this, right? And then you can see this is the same approach. In this case, I used a YouTube video, sharing a deathbed experience that hospice nurses shared on YouTube, right? Again, a news story that was published on YouTube through a local, affiliate of some ABC, CBS, NBC, channel in some, local community, I think Texas or something. All right, and then, again, the same idea, sharing videos. This is from The Guardian. And again, this is all curated content. And you'll see here, I didn't add any of The Guardian's own words. I just added my own, right? So watch this segment on, blah, 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 to witness how a profound confrontation with his mortality both changed the way he lived his life and looks at death in the aftermath of an exceptional experience, etc., etc. All right, so you can really do this all day long and literally create robust amounts of content for your Circle community or whatever community that it is that you're using. Whether it's, I do this on Ghost, on WordPress, on really any platform that I'm building content, content curation is really my go-to, content creation process, especially in the very, very beginning. By the way, for those of you who are interested in AI videos, these automated videos generated by artificial intelligence, we have this really great service that we're using called Synthesia, which turns these AI actors like this guy into bodhisattva, a person who is able to reach nirvana, but delays doing so out of compassion in order to return and help others achieve enlightenment. That's actually an AI generated script, or it's actually an AI actor that's reading our script, which is very, very cool. It's a very affordable way of adding video to your community, or many different videos to your community that are very, that will save you a shit ton of money. Video marketing is important to you. We've had really, really good response on these videos. I've done a bunch of these across a bunch of different niches, and they're all scripted. I mean, they're all using my script, and they're actors and voices, and they convert really, really well. So, totally separate topic, but I've done some videos on that, and for our circle communities and some that I'm involved with, we've used these, and they've, to really good effect. Okay, so there you have it. That's content curation with a little bit of video marketing on the tail end. If you have any interest in working with us to build your community, send an email hi@mindfulmarketplace.com, and I'm happy to help or advise. Okay, thanks so much for watching, and as always, have a wonderful day.